All right, welcome. Today, we're diving into something that sounds a little strange, but I bet it's something a lot of you have felt. That weird sense of comfort we can find in being sad. I know it sounds backward, but we're going to unpack exactly why. For so many of us, melancholy can actually feel, well, safer than being happy. So, let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a really good period of your life? Things are going great, but you catch yourself almost missing that familiar, heavy feeling of sadness? Or maybe you just find this strange comfort in gloomy weather or some sad music that just feels more, I don't know, real? This isn't about wanting to be miserable. It's a deep psychological pattern, and we're going to break it all down. This quote just nails it. It says, "Sadness isn't just an emotion, it's a home." And that's the core idea here. It's this place we keep going back to, not because we enjoy being unhappy, but because it's familiar. We know the furniture, we know where the creaky floorboards are, there are no surprises. So, for this first part, let's talk about the architecture of that home. Why does our brain even build this place to begin with? Well, it all starts with this fundamental process that's running in the background of your mind all the time. And that process is called predictive processing. Basically, your brain is a prediction machine. It is constantly, and I mean constantly, trying to guess what's going to happen next. And it's not just for kicks, it's a survival thing, designed to keep you safe from threats and uncertainty. And this, believe it or not, is where happiness can start to feel kind of threatening. Just look at how the brain might weigh these two feelings. Happiness, that can feel super high stakes. It's unpredictable, and worst of all, it can be snatched away at a second. But sadness is low stakes. It's stable. And you know what? When you're already on the floor, there's no fear of falling. And all of this creates something we can call emotional consistency. That steady, predictable feeling of sadness can literally act like a shield. It protects you from that low-key stress of being happy and just waiting, waiting for the other shoe to drop. For a brain that absolutely craves predictability, that consistent state feels so much safer. Which brings us right to our next point. Sadness isn't always this passive thing that just happens to us. Sometimes the brain actively uses it as a strategy, a shield to protect us from uncertainty. Now, this is especially true if you grew up in a home where you were often criticized or maybe felt invisible. If feeling happy or peaceful actually made you a target for negative attention, well, your brain learned a really powerful lesson. Staying sad is how you stay under the radar. It's a way to avoid the vulnerability of reaching for something more, and maybe most importantly, it shields you from that sharp sting of disappointment. I mean, your brain's logic is actually pretty simple and powerful. If you never expect joy in the first place, you can't be hurt when it doesn't show up or when it gets taken away. It's a profound, if painful, protective mechanism. And this can run so deep that it actually weaves itself into your identity. If you spent years turning inward to process pain, sadness can start to feel like the most authentic part of you. You might even start to believe that real depth, real insight is found in melancholy, not in what feels like the shallows of simple happiness. Okay, so let's explore two final reasons for this logic. And these really center on two things that matter a lot to our brains: awareness and control. Some of us just experience the world more intensely through something called heightened sensory processing. It basically means you're just more aware. You pick up on all the little details, the subtle shifts in someone's tone of voice, every little micro-expression. You're absorbing way more of the world than the average person. And when you're wired that way, it can lead to what's called emotional contagion. It's like you're a sponge for the tension and heaviness of the world around you. And pretty soon, you get completely overstimulated and overwhelmed. When that happens, retreating into the quiet, internal world of sadness is like dimming the lights in a room that's way too bright. It's a strategy to rebalance when the outside world is just too loud. And that brings us to the final reason: control. When life feels chaotic and out of your hands, sadness can become this mental space that you completely own and regulate. It's kind of like when someone's life feels like a mess, so they start meticulously cleaning their house. It's about creating order in one little corner of your world that you can control. Think about it. In that space, you are in charge. You set the rules, you set the boundaries. You don't have to wait around for other people or worry about getting on the same page with them. Inside your own melancholy, you are totally self-contained. You're autonomous, and that can be a really powerful feeling of control when the rest of the world feels anything but. So, if any of this is starting to ring a bell for you, I want to shift gears to the most important part of this whole thing. Understanding all of this isn't about finding a flaw in yourself. It's about recognizing a pattern. And here is the single most important takeaway. Your mind isn't broken. It's not working against you. It's actually trying to protect you using a strategy it learned a long, long time ago, one that probably worked really well for you at some point. That's what these are. They're survival patterns. They developed for a very good reason, based on what you went through. Your brain is simply doing what it thinks is best to keep you safe from being hurt again. And that takes us right back to our big idea. Sadness can be an incredibly effective safe house, but it is so important to remember that a safe house doesn't have to be your permanent home. It's a place you can visit, but you don't have to live there. So here's the path forward, and it's good news. Because these patterns were learned, the beautiful thing is they can be unlearned. Just understanding why your brain is doing this, seeing it as protection instead of some personal feeling, that is the most powerful first step you can possibly take toward building a life that can feel both safe and joyful. So I'll just leave you with this one last thought to chew on. If sadness is a safe house that your brain's so cleverly built to protect you, what do you think might be waiting for you right after you take that first brave step outside the door?